Long ago, in the golden age of ancient Israel, there was a king named Solomon, son of David. He was chosen by God to rule over Israel, and early in his reign, Solomon asked God, not for riches or power, but for wisdom. God was pleased and gave him a wise and understanding heart, unlike anyone before or after him. He also blessed Solomon with great wealth and peace in the land. People came from far and wide to hear his wisdom. One day, the Queen of Sheba, a powerful ruler from a distant land, heard of Solomon's fame. She was curious, could any man truly be that wise? So she gathered her treasures and questions and traveled to Jerusalem. When she arrived, Solomon welcomed her warmly. She asked him everything on her heart, and to her surprise, Solomon answered every question. She saw the beauty of his palace, the food on his table, the servants in perfect order, and the temple he had built for the Lord. She was amazed. She said, "Everything I heard in my land was true, but not even half the greatness was told to me." She gave him rich gifts, gold, spices, and precious stones, and Solomon gave back generously. Her visit was remembered as a meeting of two great and noble rulers. But after many years, Solomon's heart began to change. Though God had warned his people not to marry women from nations who worshipped false gods, Solomon loved many foreign women. He took hundreds of wives and concubines, and they brought their idols with them. Over time, Solomon allowed temples to be built for their gods, and even began to worship them himself. This disobedience broke God's heart. The Lord appeared to Solomon and said, "I gave you wisdom, peace, riches, and honor, and I warned you not to follow other gods. But you did not keep my covenant, so I will tear the kingdom from your son." God didn't take the kingdom from Solomon while he was still alive, for the sake of his father David. But after Solomon died, the kingdom was divided. 10 tribes broke away and formed the northern kingdom of Israel, leaving only a small part, Judah and Benjamin, for Solomon's descendants. Solomon had started well, full of wisdom and devotion, but in the end, he turned away from God, and his kingdom suffered because of it. His story is both a shining example of God's blessings and a warning of what happens when the heart turns away from the one who gives all things.
Once upon a time, in the land of ancient Israel, there lived two women who shared a house. Around the same time, they each gave birth to a baby boy. But one night, tragedy struck. While one woman slept, her baby died in the night. In the stillness of early morning, while the other woman was still asleep, the grieving mother did something unthinkable. She quietly rose, took the living baby from the other woman's side, and placed her own lifeless child in his place. Then she went back to bed as if nothing had happened. When the other woman awoke and looked at the baby lying beside her, something felt wrong. At first, she thought it was her son, but as she looked more closely, she realized the baby was not hers. Her heart pounded. "That's not my child, this isn't my son," she cried. But the other woman denied it. "Yes, it is," she said. "The living child is mine." The argument grew louder and more desperate, until finally, they were brought before King Solomon, the wisest man in all the land. The king listened carefully as each woman told her story. "It's my son," said the first woman. "The other woman's baby died, and she switched them while I was asleep." "No," cried the second woman. "The living child is mine. Hers is the one who died." The room fell silent. There were no witnesses, no proof, just two mothers, one child, and a terrible question. Solomon thought for a moment. Then he called for a sword. "Since you both claim the child, we will divide him in two," he said calmly. "Each of you will receive half." One woman nodded coldly. "That's fair," she said. But the other woman gasped. Her face turned pale. "No, my lord," she cried. "Give her the baby, just don't hurt him." Solomon smiled. He had seen what he needed to see. "Do not harm the child," he declared. "Give the baby to the woman who begged to save his life. She is his true mother." And so, the baby was returned to his real mother. The people who heard about the judgment were amazed, and word of Solomon's wisdom spread far and wide. He had found the truth, not with force, but by understanding the depth of a mother's love.